Today's date is 7/6/2023, and we have the honor of having a World War II veteran here. Tell us your first, last name, date of birth, sir.
Henry Rothbauer, 1/16/1926.
Say your name again.
Henry Rothbauer,
Henry Rothbauer, 1926.
26.
What's your birth date?
1/16, January 16, 1926.
So how old are you right now?
97.
He's 97 years age. So where did you grow up, Henry?
I grew up in a farm over right north of Louisville in Indiana.
What's the name of the city, or what's the name of the county?
Little town of Henryville.
That's where Colonel Sanders is from,
Yeah.
Henryville.
Yeah.
Right north of New Albany.
Yeah.
So you grew up and went to grade school and high school there? And then at age 17 you enlisted?
I tried to enlist at 17, they wouldn't take me, so when I turned 18, I was drafted, but they gave me a deferment to finish high school. As soon as I finished high school, 2 days later, I was up at Great Lakes training station
So where did you sign up, in Louisville or in Henryville?
at Jeffersonville.
Jeffersonville, you signed up there. That signed up about 1944
Yeah.
or something in there, and the line wasn't long then.
Well, not really. That was in the latter part of the war, really.
Then you went to Great Lakes. That's a big training place for the Navy. Everybody had to go to Great Lakes. Now, since then we have one in Orlando and one in San Diego, but Great Lakes is still there, and it's the main training place. Were you there 6 weeks or 8 weeks?
That was only a month, I think.
A month. Then where'd you go, Henry?
From there, I went to San Diego and took a train out there, lasted 3 or 4 days before we got there.
And did you get a sleeper, or did you have to sit the whole time?
That's it.
Sit on the train the whole time. Right over here at our museum here, we got a train station, L&N. 1.6 million troops came through Evansville. It was a steam engine at that time, and there were only 16 million troops. So you might have gone through Evansville. If you left well, Great Lakes, you probably went to Chicago straight
I
out.
went through the northern route.
Northern, yeah. It was a long trip.
Yeah, we stopped at every cow path, but the train go through.
Did you eat at those places, or what did you do when you stopped? You had to get off train for about an hour?
We didn't get off. So you eat on the train, slept on the train.
Everything, yeah. Then when you went to San Diego, what ship did you go on? You remember what ship?
Well, San Diego, I was there 2 weeks, and they put me on a LST.
What's the name of it? What number was the
I
LST?
don't know what the number was, but it was about a third as big as landing craft.
Yeah, my dad was on LST. There are 1,100 or so LSTs made in World War II. There's only one left in the world right now. It's in Evansville, Indiana. It's downtown on the river. Only one left. There are 1,100 made. My dad was on LST number 628. He was in invasion of Okinawa. So what did your ship do? Where did you go on the LST? Do you remember?
I went from San Diego to Pearl Harbor on that little LCI. And I got on a ship, USJ Franklin Bell, troop transport, that they just come back from Saipan, Tinian invasion. And,
So that had been 44.
Yeah.
44. So you got on a LCI, which is a small ship, probably only 120 feet long, that you went, and that was pretty bad getting to Hawaii, because that isn't very seaworthy. That wasn't a very big ship. That was rough, probably. So then you got to Hawaii, you went on a USS Franklin, and that was that a Liberty ship or a troop transport? I think we made about 4,000 of those ships. Kaiser made those. USS Franklin, I think it was a Kaiser-made ship. Hold about 2,000 men or so, and a lot of junk.
Well, I don't know what the crew was, maybe 100, 150, but we all about 3,000 troops.
Then it came back from Saipan and Tinian. That was a tough battle for us, but that was our biggest gas stop. All the bombers went to Japan from there. It was a pretty important stop. It was a pretty important conquer, and I think it was in 44 we conquered them. I don't know the exact date. So then they came back and they picked you up. Where'd they take you?
From Pearl Harbor, we come back to San Francisco and we were in a dry dock for about 3 months, and we picked up a load of Marines to Leyte, Philippines.
Okay, Leyte, Philippines. That's the biggest naval battle ever. Leyte Gulf, the biggest naval battle. It's December of 44, I think. Is the biggest naval battle. Were you there at the battle?
Yeah, we took a load of Marines in there.
And left them off on the shore.
Got them off and took off.
How did you leave them off? Did you leave them at shore, or did they get on a little boat off of your boat?
I'm not really sure, for I was down in the bottom engineering yard.
But you left them to take over. MacArthur was probably there. He was Army, but you left the Marines there at Lady Gulf, because after we conquered it, our LSTs were used sort of as hospital ships. There's a guy in town, his name was Butold, and he was on LST at Lady Gulf, and they used his ship to put the injured and take them out to a hospital ship. But you got pretty close to shore. After the battle, did you see any of the battle at all, Lady Gulf?
Well, before we could get away from there, which we only stayed a day or two, they already bringing some up back
Wounded, you saw that. Did you see any bombs, or did you see any zeros, any planes or anything?
Didn't see anything.
Yeah.
They were supposed to get a little plane come over and our own service shot it down.
Yeah. But you guys shot it down. But it was a Japanese plane. Yeah. Now,
They mistook it for a Japanese plane.
it was your own plane?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a lot of things that happened where we shot our own people. That was terrible. So then, after Lady Gulf, you just dropped them and ran away.
Yeah.
Got away. You didn't see subs coming after you, did you? No submarines?
No, well, I don't know where we was at, but we had destroyer escorts.
Yes, around you. So you had some protection. They had the depth charges and things. Then where did you go after you left Lady Gulf? Did you go to Okinawa, or did you go?
We went from there down to New Caledonia and picked up a load of soldiers and took them to Okinawa.
Were they Australian or
I
American?
don't know, I think they were American.
And then you took them to Okinawa. So the Battle of Okinawa started April 1st of 45, didn't end until June.
It was still having them suicide bombers come in there.
You still saw some of that.
Some of them.
And I think you invaded on the west coast of Okinawa. So,
Yeah.
and it was a coral reef, and so it's hard to get in. You didn't get very close to Okinawa because you couldn't get in close.
Well, I don't think we went in real.
And you just let those guys off. You're a transport ship, I see.
Yeah.
And then that was somewhere between April and June of 45. Then where'd you go?
From there, we come back to the States again.
Because where were you when they dropped the bomb? That was August, I think, 6th and 9th or 6th and 8th. Where were you? You were out in the ocean then?
I think we was in San Francisco, I think.
Yeah. You would have had to go back if Japanese wouldn't have given up.
Yeah.
But you would have been, your daughter might not be here.
Yeah.
Well, because you wouldn't be here. Because they said the invasion of Japan, they were so tough, we'd lost 500,000 troops. But we did all right. I mean, the atom bomb prevented that. But it was still, I think, a 9 to 8 vote. It was barely passed by the Japanese. What do you think these young kids today need to know more about history and about war and about our freedom? What do you think our freedom? Do you think they cherish our freedom? And what do you think about freedom?
Well, I think it's going to hell right now.
Yeah.
But I think, personally, I think everybody graduating from high school ought to spend a couple of years in service before they decide what they want to do, really.
I agree with you. We have to tell Mr. Biden that.
Yeah.
See what he'd say.
Yeah.
So you, do you have any brothers or sisters that were in the war?
There was 5 of us in during the war and 3 of them after in the occupation.
So how many brothers and sisters you got? 8?
8 brothers and 3 sisters,
And all 8 boys went to war?
all but one.
Wow. All of them in the Navy, or all of them in the Army or Air Force?
Well, let's see, it was me and 2 others was in the Navy and the rest of us in the Army.
All of them survived and you get killed?
My oldest brother got wounded, but not bad.
So-
Just scratching in the arm.
So you had a Purple Heart?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you the baby?
Oh, no, I was the middle one.
Middle. Uh-huh. Wow, I bet your mother was worried with all your brothers out to war. I wouldn't want to be your mother. She'd been worried.
Yeah.
Did all your brothers sign up in Jeffersonville, you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was Jefferson.
Your older brothers probably went before you. Were they in Europe, or where did they go?
One of them was in Europe. One of them was in Pearl Harbor when they got hit.
Was he? And he didn't get hit?
He was on the Pennsylvania.
He's on USS Pennsylvania. Now
It wasn't in what they call
the battleship role.
battleship role.
Well, USS Pennsylvania is a pretty important ship in World War II.
Yeah.
If you ever go, I met a guy named Duckworth or Duncan. He owned Hillsdale Nursery. He was on the USS Pennsylvania, and I put him on YouTube. I gave your daughter a card, and he talked all about the USS Pennsylvania. USS Pennsylvania went up to Alaska first, but then it went into Battle Lady Gulf, and it got hit, I think, by a kamikaze over there in Japan. But Johnny Carson was on that ship with this guy, and this guy, Johnny Carson, was a jokester then. And your brother would have known Johnny Carson because he's on the USS Pennsylvania, and this guy in town named Duncan went to Wright's, was on the USS Pennsylvania. And you listen to that YouTube, we got on YouTube, and he's really interesting. It's about a 2-hour YouTube about the USS Pennsylvania. And he'll tell you everything it did. It's a really important ship. It carried, remember the atom bomb was carried by USS Indianapolis, but also the other atom bomb, or part of it, was carried by the USS Pennsylvania. So your brother was probably on that ship when they had an atom bomb on it. And they had all the Marines guarding it.
I don't remember whether he was on it during the whole war or not, but
He was on that ship. What was your other brother on? Do you remember?
I had one on a destroyer.
Yeah. Tin Can,
Yeah.
And then a couple in the Army, or the other, what were the other two in? Army?
2 of them was in the Army.
Were they in Europe or in the West?
One of them didn't go overseas.
Uh-huh.
He was part of the old station out in California, Oregon, somewhere out in there.
Yeah, California, Oregon. Where's the other one in the Army? Did he go to Europe?
He went to Europe.
Was he in the Battle of the Bulge or in the D-Day, or what was he in?
I'm not sure on them.
Yeah. What did your sisters do during the war? Did they cook, or they didn't go to the war, did they?
No.
What did they do?
Well, I don't know. It's,
Just stayed around,
Yeah.
helped mom out. Did your dad a farmer?
Yeah.
So he didn't go.
No.
He was too old to go anyway.
Yeah,
So-
I grew up on a farm.
What were your brothers? Your brothers born probably about 1918, all the way through about 1930, something like that. You're born in 2026, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think when the atom bomb hit? What was your thoughts about that?
Well, they said the war was over, so that was a good thought.
Yeah.
When that bomb.
Victory Day, yes. Yeah. Boy, your mama had to be happy she didn't lose any of her boys. I tell you, it was a tough time. Do you have anything that you think the next generation needs to know? You said they ought to go to war, ought to go into service. Israel makes it women and men go for 18 months. I think it'd be good discipline for every kid. Your son-in-law went to Navy. I went to Navy. You went to Navy. 2 brothers went to Navy. But you learn discipline. I don't know that that's in there all the kids crawl right now. Anything about freedom that you cherish that we have in the United States compared to other countries? What do you think about our freedom?
Well, I hate to lose it, I'd say that.
Yeah, we're lucky to have
I
it.
don't know whether other people understand freedom anymore or something. So,
Yeah, freedom's everything we get, we don't cherish it as much as we should.
yeah.
Okay, well, Henry, thank you for talking to us today, and don't be a stranger here. Your daughter and your son-in-law can bring you out here anytime, okay?
I live in Missouri right now.
Oh, you do? Oh my God, we're lucky to get you. You're a show-me state, huh?
Yeah,
What part of Missouri? Camp Girardeau or Camp Cape?
right close to Fort Leonard Wood.
Oh, way out west.
Waynesville.
Waynesville. Oh.
150 miles or so past St. Louis.
150 on 60 on 70,
Down 44.
44. Yeah. Huh. What are you doing here? Visiting?
They brought me over for a week.
Well, good. Glad you're here. This is our World War II, or it was a wartime museum. Glad you're here, and I hope we had a good tour of the place. Thank you. And we got a talk starting in about 10 minutes. You can get a lunch if you want, if you're tired. But Judge Osborne has one of the best museums in the United States. He's been collecting since he's age 5. He's 85 now. And he'll talk about what he's done up in Vincennes.
Was here. I didn't know.
Yeah, you probably met him. You had a black shirt on. Well, thank you, Henry. Appreciate it now.
Yeah, thank you.
You were at Midway. Tell us what happened at Midway. You were on a ship there, and tell us what happened there.
Well, it was an ammunition ship anchored about a quarter of a mile away from us, I guess. It moved off that morning over 2 or 3 miles away, and somehow it blew up. But otherwise, I wouldn't be here today, I don't guess. But
Wow. Wow. It blew up. Think a sub hit it or something.
They never did hear what it caused.
Yeah.
Somebody smoking.
At Midway. Okay, I got a Midway expert here, Jason Holmes. I'm gonna have him ask you something about that. Okay.
And another time, I think it was still the same island. My brother that was on a sub come visit me on my ship.
Is it that sub boy?
I never,
Sight for sore eyes. He was on the sub. He came see you. Isn't that neat? Oh my!
I didn't know he was in the neighborhood.
Isn't that something? He found you. Wow. Okay.